Zyrak, a world many light years away from Earth, was famed across the galaxy for its technological marvels and advanced understanding of medicine. Its inhabitants, the Zyrakians, were a peaceful, intelligent species known for their elongated forms, bioluminescent skin, and keen minds. Their society had evolved in such a way that diseases and injuries, which plagued other planets, had little effect on them. For hundreds of years, the Zyrakians had lived in harmony, rarely faced with medical challenges they couldn't overcome. However, deep in the dense jungles of Zyrak lurked a rare and dangerous creature, the Zalurian venom beast. This creature was rarely encountered and had earned a legendary status among the Zyrakians. Stories about it were whispered among children and adults alike, tales of its venom's insidious spread and the deadly fever it caused. It was said that even the tiniest amount of venom would cause a terrible death, shutting down the victim's organs within hours. One ordinary evening, a young Zyrakian named Kara was out exploring the forest with her friends. The night was peaceful, filled with the gentle hum of bioluminescent plants that glowed in various shades of blue and green, casting an otherworldly light over the landscape. Kara was an adventurous spirit, always eager to learn and explore. Her curiosity had often led her to the edge of the jungle, but she had never dared to venture so deep until that fateful night. Kara and her friends were laughing, their voices echoing in the calm night, when she noticed a faint glimmer in the shadows. Thinking it was a rare plant or stone, she moved closer, her heart racing with excitement. But as she reached out, she realized too late that the shimmering light wasn't an object. It was the eye of a Zalurian venom beast. Before she could scream or pull back, the creature struck, injecting a small but lethal dose of venom into her arm. Panic surged through her friends as Kara collapsed to the ground, clutching her arm where the creature had bitten her. The pain was unlike anything she had ever experienced, an icy burn that spread rapidly, freezing her arm and sending waves of nausea through her body. Her friends, though terrified, managed to carry her back to the village, calling for help with every step. As they arrived, Kara's skin had already turned a sickly shade, her glowing complexion dimming with each passing moment. Word of the incident reached the Galactic Medical Unit, a renowned facility where the finest alien medics practiced. Kara's family and the entire community were struck with fear. They knew that Zalurian venom was a death sentence. The venom attacked swiftly, spreading from the bloodstream to every organ, shutting down bodily functions one by one. The alien medics, despite their advanced skills, had never been able to counteract its effects. It was too aggressive, too foreign even to their advanced medicine. Kara was rushed to the medical unit, where Dr. Varix, the head physician, gathered his team. They examined her, analyzing her vital signs, but their faces were grim. Already, her heart rate was faltering, her breathing shallow, and her normally vibrant skin had faded to a pale blue. Dr. Varix knew they had mere hours to act before the venom would claim her life. As her family gathered around, hoping for a miracle, an unexpected visitor arrived at the Galactic Medical Unit. Dr. Ilera, a human scientist from Earth, had just reached Zyrak as part of a cross-galactic health exchange program. Earth had long been in awe of Zyrakian medical advancements, and Ilera had come to learn from them, excited to bring back new techniques that could benefit her people. But little did she know that her arrival would change the fate of the Zyrakians forever. As Ilera entered the medical bay, she sensed the tension and despair that filled the room. She saw Kara lying on the table, pale and unresponsive, and heard the low murmurs of the alien medics as they discussed their options, or rather, the lack of them. "Is there really nothing we can do?" Ilera asked, her voice breaking the silence. Dr. Varix looked at her, a mixture of exhaustion and sadness in his eyes. "This is beyond our science, Dr. Ilera. Zalurian venom is untouchable. We have nothing in our arsenal that can combat it." Ilera felt a pang of sympathy and helplessness. She had no experience with alien toxins, but she was well-versed in human physiology and immune responses. The venom's aggressive spread reminded her of certain pathogens on Earth, highly resistant quick-spreading illnesses that humans had learned to combat over centuries. She thought back to the many diseases Earthlings had faced, from bacterial infections to viral outbreaks, and the incredible resilience that human bodies had developed in response. What about human blood? Alara proposed almost hesitantly. Human blood carries antibodies that are specifically evolved to fight off harmful substances. It might not cure Kara, but it could possibly slow the venom. The alien medics looked at each other, skeptical. To them, the idea of another species' blood as a cure was almost unheard of, even unthinkable. But they were desperate, and Alara's argument made a strange sort of sense. If human immune systems were as adaptable as she claimed, there was a chance, albeit a small one, that her blood could help. With Dr. Varix's hesitant nod, Alara quickly began the preparation process, taking out a vial and extracting her blood with a syringe. She handed it to Dr. Varix, who analyzed the sample, amazed by the complex mix of cells and antibodies. This was their last shot, and every medic in the room held their breath as they introduced the human blood into Kara's system, each of them hoping against hope for a miracle. At first, nothing happened. Kara lay motionless, her breathing shallow and uneven. The medics exchanged nervous glances, unsure if they had just wasted precious minutes on a futile experiment. But as they watched, something incredible began to unfold. The pale hue of Kara's skin gradually shifted, a soft glow returning to her cheeks. Her breathing grew steadier, her pulse stronger. Dr. Varix gasped, unable to believe what he was seeing. Kara's body was responding to the human blood, its natural defenses fighting back against the venom. Alara's theory had been right. The human antibodies were doing what Zarakian medicine could not. As the initial shock and wonder wore off, the alien medics snapped into action. They had just witnessed something unimaginable, human blood halting the effects of the deadly Zalurian venom, even if only temporarily. This development sparked a whirlwind of hope, doubt, and cautious excitement. Could it really be that human blood held the key to curing a toxin that had plagued Zarakian science for generations? Dr. Varix, who had never seen a phenomenon quite like this in his decades of medical practice, carefully monitored Kara's vital signs. Her heart rate had stabilized, and her breathing was more regular, though her body still bore the effects of the venom. Despite the improvement, the medics understood that they weren't out of danger yet. The venom was only suppressed, not eradicated. Time was of the essence, and they had to act quickly if they wanted to save her. Alara watched the monitors with a pounding heart, both exhilarated and anxious. She knew the blood transfusion was a temporary solution at best, and if they were going to give Kara a true chance at survival, they needed to find a way to use the human antibodies more effectively. She gathered her thoughts and proposed an idea that shocked the entire team. What if we create a serum? Alara suggested, her voice steady but urgent. We could extract and amplify the antibodies from my blood to create a concentrated dose. If a small amount of human blood can stabilize Kara, imagine what a purified, potent serum could do. Dr. Varix's eyes widened at the suggestion. The concept of creating a hybrid serum from human blood was revolutionary. Zarakian science had advanced in ways Earth hadn't, but their knowledge had never included the immune properties of human biology. In his world, a new serum typically took years to develop, but Kara didn't have that kind of time. They would have to experiment, something Zarakian medics rarely did without thorough testing. Yet, desperate times called for desperate measures. The team began to discuss the logistics of creating such a serum, combining both Zarakian and human technology. Alara's blood had to be carefully filtered and processed to isolate the antibodies that were fighting the venom. But there were challenges. The alien medics had no knowledge of human blood components, and Alara, though a trained scientist, was still learning Zarakian medical practices. They would have to combine their knowledge in real time, working around the clock in a high-stakes environment. One of the younger Zarakian medics, a bright and ambitious healer named Lyrian, proposed an innovative approach to extract the antibodies. Zarakians had devices that could isolate specific proteins with astonishing precision, and Lyrian believed they could modify these devices to work with human blood. Dr. Varix nodded approvingly. admiring the creativity and determination in his team. With the plan in place, Ilera allowed herself to be hooked up to the Zerakian machine, which began the delicate process of extracting her antibodies. As she lay on the examination table, she could feel the slight tugging sensation as the machine filtered her blood. She watched in awe as the Zerakians worked with practiced efficiency, adjusting their instruments to accommodate her biology. It was a surreal experience. Humans and Zerakians, each holding knowledge the other lacked, united in a race against time. The extraction took several hours, with each step monitored closely to ensure the purity of the antibody sample. At last, they had a vial of concentrated human antibodies, a shimmering, iridescent liquid that seemed to glow with potential. The team gathered around the vial, knowing that this small container might be Kara's last hope. Dr. Verix held the vial in his hand, a mixture of awe and trepidation on his face. He glanced at Ilera, who nodded in encouragement. "Let's do this," she said firmly, her voice filled with conviction. Carefully, the medics prepared to inject the serum into Kara's bloodstream. The room was filled with a tense silence as everyone watched, their eyes fixed on the monitors that displayed her vitals. At first, nothing seemed to happen. But then, slowly, Kara's body began to react. Her vitals started to stabilize even further, her heart rate growing stronger and her blood oxygen levels rising. The effects were far more pronounced than they had been with the initial blood transfusion. Her skin, which had been pale and cold, now glowed faintly with its usual bioluminescent hue, and her breathing became more regular. The serum was working, seemingly neutralizing the venom at a cellular level. But the venom fought back. Kara's body convulsed briefly as her immune system waged a fierce battle against the toxin. It was a testament to both her resilience and the potency of the human antibodies. Dr. Verix and Ilera hovered over her, monitoring every change, ready to adjust the treatment if necessary. As the minutes passed, Kara's condition continued to improve. Her body was slowly flushing out the venom, and the symptoms of the poisoning were reversing. The Zerakian medics watched in stunned silence, unable to believe what they were seeing. For years, Zellurian venom had been the one force beyond their control, a toxin that no Zerakian could survive. And now, because of a human serum, Kara was recovering. As dawn broke over Zyrak, Kara opened her eyes. Her gaze was weak but lucid, and her family, who had been waiting anxiously outside the medical bay, rushed to her side with tears in their eyes. Her mother gently touched her glowing face, whispering words of gratitude. Kara, though exhausted, managed a small smile. She was alive, saved by the blood of a human, a species she had never met, from a world she could hardly imagine. Dr. Verix turned to Ilera, overwhelmed by gratitude. "You've done the impossible," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You've saved her life with your blood." Ilera shook her head modestly. "It wasn't just me," she said, glancing around at the alien medics who had worked tirelessly by her side. "It was all of us. Together, we proved that our species can accomplish things we never thought possible." Word of Kara's miraculous recovery spread quickly across Zyrak and beyond. News of the human serum, a substance capable of neutralizing Zellurian venom, traveled through the galaxy, sparking curiosity, excitement, and even awe. Galactic scholars and scientists began arriving on Zyrak to learn more, eager to understand the unique properties of human blood. The Zerakian Council, the governing body of the planet, requested a meeting with Ilera, hoping to establish a formal alliance between Zyrak and Earth to exchange medical knowledge and resources. But for Ilera, the true victory lay in the newfound bond she shared with the Zerakian medics. Together, they had overcome a boundary that had once seemed insurmountable. In the days that followed, they conducted further research, using the remaining serum to study the effects on other toxins and ailments unique to Zyrak. Their findings were groundbreaking, suggesting that human antibodies could potentially combat other rare diseases across the galaxy. Kara, now fully recovered, became something of a hero among her people. She spoke of Ilera's bravery and kindness, of how a stranger from another world had risked her life to save hers. She became a symbol of unity between the two species, a reminder of what could be achieved through cooperation and compassion. And as Alara looked out at the stars, she felt a profound sense of purpose. Her journey to Zyrak had been intended as a learning experience, but it had become so much more. She had found allies, friends, and a new chapter in the field of medicine, one that would forever change the course of history on both Zyrak and Earth. In the days and weeks following Kara's miraculous recovery, the Zyrakian medical community became a bustling hub of activity, filled with scholars, scientists, and medics from across the galaxy. The story of the human blood serum had captured the interest of countless alien civilizations, and delegations arrived daily to witness the incredible results firsthand. For many species, the concept of cross-species medicine was revolutionary, and it opened up a realm of possibilities that no one had dared to consider before. Alara had become something of a celebrity among the Zyrakians, but she remained grounded, focusing on the task at hand, understanding why human blood had been so effective against the Zalurian venom. The Zyrakian medics, including Dr. Varix, worked side by side with Alara to analyze the serum, study its properties, and determine how it could be adapted to combat other toxins and diseases. One of their first breakthroughs came when Lyrian, the young and innovative Zyrakian healer, proposed a study into how human antibodies reacted to different types of alien venom. After several rigorous tests, they discovered that human antibodies didn't just neutralize the Zalurian venom. They seemed to adapt to any foreign substance introduced to them. This adaptability was unique, as Zyrakian immune cells were specifically tailored to Zyrakian ailments and had limited effectiveness against toxins from other planets. Alara explained this phenomenon, which she called adaptive immunity, in one of the medical symposiums hosted at the Galactic Medical Unit. Humans have evolved over millennia to combat countless diseases, viruses, and bacteria, she said to an attentive audience of alien scholars. Our bodies create specific antibodies that target foreign invaders, adapting to nearly every type of threat we've encountered. This adaptability is why our blood was able to fight off the Zalurian venom, and why it could potentially combat other extraterrestrial toxins. The implications were astounding. If human antibodies could adapt to alien threats, it meant that human blood might hold the key to curing diseases and neutralizing toxins across the galaxy. Dr. Varix, Lyrian, and the other Zyrakian medics were in awe, realizing that they were on the brink of a medical revolution that would change not just Zyrak, but the entire galaxy. Recognizing the need for a more structured approach, the Zyrakian Council formed a task force, the Intergalactic Medical Alliance, IMA, with Alara as its co-director alongside Dr. Varix. The IMA's mission was to further study human blood's unique properties and establish a framework for sharing this knowledge with other planets. With Earth's approval, the IMA began recruiting humans who were willing to donate blood for research, creating a bridge between Earth and countless other worlds. As the IMA expanded, it attracted scientists and medical professionals from hundreds of species, each bringing their own unique insights and technologies. In the Alliance's state-of-the-art labs, scientists experimented with combining human antibodies with alien compounds, creating hybrid medicines that were far more effective than anything previously known. One of their earliest successes was with a disease called Resker syndrome, which plagued the inhabitants of the planet Trilora. Resker syndrome caused extreme neurological degeneration, slowly erasing memory and motor functions. Previous attempts to treat it had only slowed the disease's progress, but never stopped it. When Alara learned about it, she theorized that human antibodies might be able to strengthen the neurological pathways affected by the disease, potentially halting its progression. After weeks of research, the IMA developed a serum based on Alara's theories. The first trial was administered to a young Triloran girl named Vera, whose symptoms had already advanced significantly. The results were nothing short of miraculous. Within days, Vera regained control over her movements and even some of her memories. The Triloran people hailed the treatment as a gift from the stars, and the IMA's success cemented its reputation as a leader in intergalactic medicine. Inspired by this success, the IMA embarked on a new project to map the various diseases and toxins that affected different planets and species. Alara spearheaded the initiative, which they called the Galactic Health Registry. This registry would catalog illnesses from across the galaxy, helping medics understand how different species responded to treatments. The registry also included a special section on human adaptability, detailing the ways human antibodies could be engineered to fight specific alien threats. But as the IMA's influence grew, so did its challenges. The notion of using human blood as a universal cure attracted a lot of attention, and not all of it was positive. Some planets, fearful of dependency on Earth, raised concerns about the implications of relying on human blood for their people's survival. Alara understood these fears and worked tirelessly to reassure the galaxy that the IMA's goal was not dominance, but collaboration. She met with leaders from several planets, emphasizing that the goal was to share knowledge, not to create a dependency. To address these concerns, the IMA initiated a program to help each planet develop its own medical technologies, encouraging local scientists to learn how to replicate the effects of human blood without constant reliance on it. Alara and Dr. Varix led workshops, teaching alien medics how to use human antibodies as a template to strengthen their own immune systems. During one of these workshops, Kara, the young Zarakian girl who had been the first to receive the human serum, spoke to a crowd of delegates from various planets. Her story had become legendary, and her voice carried weight among those who had doubts. "I am living proof that cooperation and trust can save lives," she said, her glowing skin radiating health and vitality. "The serum saved me, but it was the unity of our medics that truly changed my fate." Kara's words inspired a new wave of support, and soon, the IMA had branches on dozens of planets, each working toward medical independence and innovation. The alliance became a symbol of hope, a testament to what could be achieved when worlds came together for the greater good. As the years passed, Alara's contributions became woven into the very fabric of intergalactic medical science. New cures were developed for diseases that had once been death sentences, and alien medics from countless worlds flocked to study the methods pioneered by Earth and Zyrak. Alara herself became something of a legend, known as the Mother of Intergalactic Medicine, revered not just for her knowledge, but for her willingness to cross boundaries and take risks in the name of saving lives. And on a quiet night, as Alara looked out over the sprawling landscape of Zyrak, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had come to this distant planet as a student, eager to learn from the Zyrakians, but she had found so much more, a purpose, a family, and a legacy that would outlive her. Dr. Varix joined her, standing by her side as they watched the stars. "You've done something incredible, Alara," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "You've brought hope to worlds that never even dreamed of it." Alara smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and humility. "It wasn't just me," she replied softly. "It was all of us, the humans, the Zyrakians, and every species that believed in the idea of a united galaxy." As they stood together, watching the stars that connected countless worlds, Alara knew that the work was far from over. There were still diseases to cure, lives to save, and mysteries of the universe to unravel. But now, with the Intergalactic Medical Alliance standing strong, she knew they would be ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they had forged a new path, a future where knowledge and compassion transcended species and boundaries, uniting the galaxy in ways that had once seemed impossible. And as the stars continued to shine, so did their hope for a brighter, healthier galaxy for all.